Armada Book 3 Chapter 6 The Jektonoks Part 1. It took 3 days before Andrew could leave Sonia's planet. He left Brent with 4 other ships to help Sonia in bringing her planet in order. It turned out Sonia could work better if she worked in the ship, so Brent set up a large office permanently for her with his AI Gina working for her. Andrew met up with Eric and they all headed to the Jektonok galaxies. It was a 5-day trip from Gasimjan's planet, and along the way they posted the hop ships, 15 in all. After 5 days, about 100 BLY away from the planet, Roger beams into Andrew's bridge. Roger gave a crisp salute. "Good to see you, sir. When I arrived I got word that you were coming over, so I just did the prep work. I have drones in all the 80 planets and are waiting to dispense the Sanat. There are 680 Romit ships and we have tagged all their personnel and planted the bombs to knock out their engines. There are more than 1 million Romits in the ships and about 2 million on the ground in the 80 planets. I believe we have tagged more than 2 million. We have their third Queen Limnia going over the preparations. She was very insistent that we not hurt her people. She actually knows some of the top commanders and she recommends talking to them as soon as you guys arrive." Andrew pointed to Ellie. "See Ellie, Roger did not exterminate the Romits." "Ellie, how could you?" Roger exclaimed, then laughed. "Why don't we beam them in time boxes? I don't want any gun going off without permission." Sarudam said. "There are 18 senior commanders in their armada, 5 are on the ground." Olive reported. "They have all been tagged." Roger added. "We will be in beaming range in 1 hour." Olive said. Jenny appears with Lachine, Dr. Reek, Kirk and Eric. Insantal and Barchalam appeared before Andrew. "Hello Andrew, we have surveyed the planets and all the Jektonoks have been infected. What I cannot understand is that the Jektonoks are actually happy following the Romits." Insantal said. "I think that's what happened to us. We could have all volunteered to do their dirty work without us knowing about it." Barchalam said. "We will talk to them using their queen and we might get lucky. Some of the Romits may not believe and may decide to fight." Andrew said. "Why don't we show them? Let them go back to their homeworld, talk to their queen and come back. We can even have them ask if the queen wants the emperor back." Eric said. Roger looked at Eric. "You know that could work. I have laid out a direct hop line to the queen's planet." "Andrew, why don't we get some of the Jektonok leaders and wake them up? Let's see what they have to say." Insantal suggested. "Not yet Insantal. Roger, have you hacked into their ship records?" Andrew quickly said. "Yes, the Norsets have copied all the data from almost all of their ships. The same story, different species. What we're trying to find out is why the effect on the Jektonoks are like this." I would agree with Insantal. Wake up their leaders and hear what they have to say. "Olive, can you get the queen to the bridge so we can explain our plans to her?" Andrew said. Queen Limnia appeared. "Greetings Queen Limnia, this is Andrew, the commander of the Armada." Roger introduced the people in the bridge and offered if the queen would like to sit. The queen walked to the lounge area and the group followed. Queen Limnia greeted them by raising her 2 lower hands. "I hope we can do this without hurting any of my people. I am glad that you are cooperative and that Queen Natia has allowed you to go." Andrew said. Queen Limnia explained, "Understand this, the first queen and all the queens have all been against this expansionary activities of the emperor. Where is he, by the way? Bring him to me please, I want to see him." Olive beamed the emperor beside the queen. Still meek and feeble Ellie assisted the emperor to sit beside Queen Limnia. "How are you, dear emperor? Are they treating you well here?" Limnia asked. Nakom did not show any noticeable change in emotion. "I am fine Limnia. They are treating me as one of their own, like their brother." He paused for a few seconds. "Can I go home now?" "Not yet, I have to ask Natia and beg her to take you back. But you have to promise to stop all this war. Our people are very much against this and you are the only person in our galaxies who believes in this folly." Nakom looked at Limnia. "Please ask Natia, take me home. I can no longer be emperor, I know that. I want to talk to her." "Okay, I will send some of our people and ask her and maybe she will agree to see you," Limnia said. "Queen Limnia, we can ask some of the commanders to go to your homeworld using the hop ships and ask the first queen," Roger said. Limnia looked at Roger puzzled. "What are hop ships?" Ellie took the task of explaining the system and how they can arrive in their planet in less than 3 hours. "Who is the commander of the contingent below? Please bring him up here," Limnia said. "We can bring all 18 commanders so you can talk to all of them," Andrew said. "Do that Andrew," Limnia said. Olive beamed the 18 people into time boxes at the back of the bridge. "They are frozen in time boxes for our security because they are all armed. We can release their heads so you can talk to them," Ellie explained. As they released the Romit heads, they all shouted in anger. Then they stopped when they saw their Queen Limnia and their emperor. "Forgive us, Your Highness. I am Gribben, the commander of the 45th Expeditionary Armada. Limnia was direct. I want you to take a few commanders and go to meet the first Queen Natia. She wants all of you to go home and end the expansionary activities. Also ask her if she wants the Emperor back or would she still want Andrew to take care of him. Limnia continued, I will have them free you if you promise to behave. Yes, Your Highness, we will do as you ask. Gribben said. Olive freed all of the commanders. Gribben told 5 of his commanders to go with him. We are the group that will meet with the first Queen, Your Highness. Very well, I will ask Andrew to have some people accompany you in your journey back home. You will go from ship to ship and you will be in the Queen's presence in less than 3 hours. Do you know what to ask her? Limnia asked. Yes, if she wants all of us to go home and if she wants the Emperor back. Gribben said. Very good, Gribben. Return immediately. The rest of you, return to your units and prepare to go home. 10 Marines appeared and asked for their weapons. Limnia nodded to Gribben and he gave up their weapons. Kirk offered to go with the Marines and Andrew nodded his agreement. Then they were beamed out. The rest of you, prepare to go home as early as tonight or tomorrow morning. Limnia repeated. One of the officers thanked her and told her that would be a very welcome news. Olive beamed them back. That wasn't so hard. Nakom, we will hear from the first Queen tonight. Limnia said, holding Nakom's hand. I want to rest now and go to my quarters. Do you want me to accompany you? Limnia asked. Please, be with me, Limnia. Limnia stood and assisted Nakom to stand. She held his arms and walked with him to his room. Limnia turned her head and looked at Andrew and nodded. That is so poignant. Jenny sighed. Boss, the Romits are mobilizing. The ships are moving into Armada position and the transport ships are all going down to the planet. Eric said. The Romits in the cities are also moving. They are assembling their equipment and are all regrouping. I believe that by morning, they would be able to leave. Roger said. Maybe they see it as a pointless war. That occupying planets does not work. Reek said. I completely feel it, Dr. Reek. Eric said. Okay guys, let's all have a quiet dinner before the storm. Andrew said. They all moved with Insantal and Bartolom to the mess hall and along the way the two became noisy. They did not control their excitement and infected all the others. You will be heroes to your people. Maybe even promoted. Eric said. I don't mind. But more important is that our people will be free, all 80 planets. Insantal said. Bartolom added, and no more war. Andrew, I admire your attitude never to go into a shooting war if you can save both parties. And we find out the Romits are actually against this all along. It makes our job a lot easier. Andrew replied. We can just ask Gribben to talk to the other commanders who are occupying planets of other species to just go home. Roger said. Ellie, maybe you can teach some of our scientists your fusion technology and set up hop ships among our planets so trade and travel is easier. Insantal said. We have a lot of extra hop ships being towed by the newbies. I think 20 hop ships will be more than enough for the moment for your galaxies. We need the others to swing the hop lines back to the network from this far afield. Ellie said. We have a few thousand, I think 2,000, Tosban ships idle near one of our planets. Nobody wants them. Sarudam added. Well, Tony must be converting them now as we speak. This Romit activities required a lot of hop ships, more than we planned for. Eric said. I wonder how Gantley and Tonin are doing with their side of the problem. Andrew said. Tonin appeared as a hologram. Speaking of the devil, Ellie said. I heard you sent some commanders home to get the Queen's blessing. Yes, we did. Andrew said calmly. You want us to send them to you so they can just talk to the Romit at your end to go home. Eric said. You're a mind reader, Eric. Tonin said. They will be back in 6 hours although their ships are preparing to leave. Ellie said. I guess we can wait a few more hours. Tell the newbies to lay out some hop ships towards Gantley's and my positions. Tonin said. Your wish is our command, Tonin. I will send 100 ships to lay down the hop ships all the way to your position and Gantley's. Roger said and saluted. I always find you eating. Did you contact the humans already, Andrew? Tonin asked. Yes, we did and we are hungry, that's why we eat. Andrew said. Fine, I will just wait for the Romit commander. Better yet, send the Queen with him. Tonin said. Andrew gave the thumbs up, will do. Tonin bid goodbye and disappeared. What's with that guy? Sarudam asked. They don't eat much. Ellie said softly. The group laughed. Lachine laughed out louder than usual, almost bordering on being rude. So Lachine, did you talk to your sister lately? Andrew asked. She's appearing before me every hour. It's getting into my nerves. Lachine wants to be a ship commander. Did you know she commanded a division of their foot soldiers when they had no commander for several years? Jenny asked. Being a foot soldier commander is dangerous. We attack and we get killed. It was a good thing my sister changed the strategy, otherwise we could have all been killed and the whole army decimated. Jenny is one of our most technically trained commanders. You will learn a lot from her. Maybe in a few years you will earn your ship. Andrew said. Really, I can do that? Lachine asked, surprised. Ellie saw Queen Limnia looking around for them. She stood up and waved at the queen, who approached the group. Have a seat, Queen Limnia. Andrew stood and gestured to Limnia. One of our top commanders were asking if you and Gribben can go to their positions and talk to the commanders as well. Sarudam asked. Yes, we should do that to avoid any more loss of life. Limnia said. Ellie asked, have you eaten, Queen Limnia? I can accompany you to get your food. Ellie stood up and walked around to go beside Limnia. Thank you, Ellie. Limnia stood up and went to the food line with Ellie. Insantal and Barchalam became quiet all of a sudden. Sarudam and Jenny stood up and went to Ellie. Jenny started to talk to Ellie through their implants. When they reached Ellie at the line, Queen Limnia, would you mind if I invite you to look at my science ship? Ellie offered. But I just got my food. Limnia countered. You can eat it at my mess hall. Olive, can you beam Jenny, Sarudam, and the Queen to my mess hall, please? Ellie said, and they disappeared. At the mess hall in Ellie's ship, Ellie was a bit awkward because she was not about to share any technology with the Romits. But she understands how things happen. Queen Limnia, what is it that your galaxy need that you absolutely have a hard time with? Ellie asked. Just call me Limnia, Ellie, if you please. Our people have a tremendous need for energy. I understand you have a fusion generator. If you share that with us, we could be really good friends. Ellie thought of the fusion system she gave Sonia and said, I would like to show you one. Tom, can you please beam us to the hangar where the fusion generators like the ones we gave to Sonia are? Tom did as requested. Limnia, this is a fusion reactor, a medium-sized one. This one can power a city with 1 million people. I can give you 5 of these and teach you how to build them. Of course, we would ask for peace and the start of trade between the galaxies through the hop system. But all these, Limnia, I would have to ask my superiors for their approval. Ellie said, gesturing. Yes, Ellie, I understand. Your species are indeed wise. You avoid killing even your enemies if you can, and now you may well be actually providing us with something that can help our people. The Emperor thought his armies are the best, but before you, they are not at all the best, and you exert effort to save their lives. I only hope this misunderstanding will not cause so much anger between the groups of species that our kind will not be able to be a part of. The price for peace is usually very high. The fusion technology we will give you will make it appear a bargain. Ellie said. Why don't we get the Queen back to her food so she can continue eating? Jenny suggested. Good idea. Let's go. After a few hours, Olive reported, Ellie, Kirk and the Romit group have returned from the Queen. They will be in Andrew's Bridge in 2 minutes. Ellie, Jenny and Sarudam has kept the Queen company at Ellie's reception hall. At Andrew's Bridge, Ellie and her group appeared. Then Roger, Dr. Reek, Lachine and Eric appeared. They just stood there waiting. Then Kirk and the Romit group appeared. Ikir, Grivan. Andrew greeted them. Hello, Andrew. Your Highness, this is First Commander Redcon, head of the Imperial Guards. He will order the troops to go home. Gribben said. What about the Emperor? Gribben was quiet. He looked at Redcon. I am sorry, Third Queen. The First Queen said no. Redcon said. Limnia turned and looked at Andrew. Just tell the Emperor he had a dream of me. That none of these happened. When Natia agrees to get him back, just send word and we will bring him back to you. Andrew said. Yes, okay, let's all go to your ship, Gribben, and do our work from there. Redcon. Yes, Third Queen. Yes, Your Highness. Redcon seconded. Olive beamed them to Gribben's ship. I am happy, but Nakom won't be. Andrew said. I am sleepy. Reek said. Andrew laughed. If you're not hungry, you're sleepy. I want to go back to my ship now. Ellie said. They all beamed out. The next day, the Romits appeared to be happy and very busy. Some of the Jektonoks appeared to be sad to see them go. By midday, Andrew beamed himself as a hologram in front of Limnia and saw Ellie already there. I came to see if you need any help or anything. Andrew said. Hello, Andrew. Ellie is telling me that the hops have been laid out all the way to the next aliens where we would have to tell our people to go home. Limnia said. Yes, they are. Andrew answered. Ellie started. Limnia asked for a few fusion reactors and I told her we can teach her people with your approval, of course. Andrew raised his hand slightly. The price is too small for the peace we will get. Go ahead, Ellie. Make sure you teach them well. Ellie, why don't you send some people to Queen Natia and ask her if she needs anything else, and if we can provide it we will. Then start drafting a peace agreement so we can start trade and technology exchange with her people. Thank you, Andrew. I know you will see it that way, Andrew. I can let Kirk accompany your people over the hops so they can reach the planets of the other aliens. Olive, can you call Kirk, Tonin, and Gantley over please? Beam me over also, Andrew said. Andrew and Kirk as themselves while Tonin and Gantley appeared as holograms before the Queen and Redcon. Andrew introduced Tonin and Gantley to the Queen, Redcon, and Gribben. Kirk will accompany the Queen and Redcon to order their armies to go home. Would you guys like to facilitate their travel to them? By all means, Tonin said. Gantley nodded. Tonins would be first, then my group later. When can we leave? Kirk asked and looked at Gribben. We can leave immediately. How long would our trip take? Limnia asked. Tonin replied quickly, about an hour to me, then another hour to Gantley. So by the end of the day our work will be done. Limnia said. Not really, Your Highness, there are other planets under our expeditionary forces that we need to bring back home. Redcon said. Give us the coordinates and we will put hops in place so you can arrive there earlier. Andrew said. Olive appeared and, would you allow me to get into your ship data systems? Redcon replied, it's not in their data systems. I can show you where. Olive showed the galaxies beside Gantley's in a hologram. Redcon was shocked but said, okay, they are in this galaxy to the left and a few galaxies further left. Olive moved to those galaxies and expanded them. Redcon pointed, these two galaxies and these one on the left. Yes, closer please. These solar systems. This one, this and I think these two here. Yes, this galaxy has four, this and these two further out. These are about 300 MLY from Gantley. Olive said. I can tow some hop ships there from my area and arrive there in a day and a half. I will also send the ships to see what the other aliens may need. Gantley said. Good, by the time you finish with your troops in Gantley's area, you can go by hop to those planets. Andrew said. Your ships travel very fast. Now my people has one more request and that is if they can use your hops to go back home. Limnia said. The hops can handle only a few thousands a day. Your people will get home in maybe 10 to 12 days. Redcon explained, that is better than 3 or 4 months on their ships. They are really just so eager to go home. They will run a lottery and the unlucky ones get to fly the ships back home. Yes, you may. I will post escorts so your people would not get lost in these hop ships. Andrew said. Thank you, Andrew. Gribben said. Ellie looked at Limnia. Limnia, I will send the fusion reactors out today through the hops and my scientists will be following tomorrow. Very good, Ellie. Thank you again, Andrew. Ellie. So Kirk, Redcon, are we ready to go? Redcon nodded, yes, Your Highness. They disappeared. Gribben, I need you to assign some of your people to escort my technicians with the 5 fusion reactors I have promised Limnia. Ellie said. Yes, of course, Ellie. Just tell your technicians to let us know when they are ready so we can go with them. Thank you, Andrew, Ellie. So Gribben, all your people will be deployed in the ships by nightfall? Andrew asked. Yes, you can deal with the Jektonoks below by nightfall. Some planets, maybe 12 by now, are already free of my people. You can start with those. Good idea. See you later.